the Zapruder film. This piece of golf equipment right here had the internet in an absolute whirlwind. Is going to lead to, I believe, the most talked about and discussed YouTube golf controversy ever. Malosi Gate, Slope Gate, whatever you want to call it. The Internet Invitational did not disappoint. The finale was unbelievable. We're going to discuss everything in this video. Anyway, thanks for clicking on this video. If you're new here to the Scratch Golf Show, my name is Marco and I'm your host. We talk about all things golf, YouTube, and professional here on the Scratch Golf Show, and today we're going to be discussing the main storylines from the finale of the Internet Invitational. Make sure you like the video, comment. I know everyone has a lot to say on everything, and I want to read all your comments, so make sure you leave them in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button, please. It's free, and I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so please hit that button. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video. All right, we're going to save Rangefinder, Slope Gate, Malosi Gate for a few minutes, because there's a few things I want to talk about. First and foremost, that ending really got me in the feels. RIP to Beef, man. Hug your loved ones, hug your close friends, your family, because you never know. Life is a very precious gift, and that ending really got me. Beef is an awesome dude. The clip of him saying he's going to pay off his parents' mortgage if he wins the money donated to charity, I think just goes to shows what kind of person he was. So RIP to him. And that was just a crazy tribute. And I'm glad they put that in there. It's crazy how he hit the first shot, and I believe he technically hit the last shot. And it's the first winner. I think they named the trophy after him. So good on all the Barstool guys. And good on, like I said, Beef was an awesome person. I'm glad this is a tribute to him. Anyway, to move past the unfortunate stuff that happened, I want to shout out Barstool, Bob to Sports, everyone who went, the behind the scenes production, editing crew. This thing was quite literally the best piece of YouTube golf content I have ever seen. The views, the attention, the stories, Quan Gate, Paige Gate, Slope Gate. I mean, it had everything. And if you actually follow, knowing what we know now, there was so many breadcrumbs, Easter eggs. I actually did a live stream right after the video ended, and I was talked about, I want to go back and watch everything to see the Easter eggs that maybe we missed, that we didn't know were in older episodes. I think that's going to be great. I think they're going to have a really hard time topping the first Internet Invitational. This thing was quite literally perfect. But let's talk about a few different things. I guess let's start with Paige. I want to start with Paige. Actually, I guess I'm going to shout out Brad, Beef, and Francis for winning, the winning team. I'm trying to get Brad on for a interview next week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button for that. He's a friend of the program. I've had him on before, and we're working on recording and hopefully getting something next week to hear everything, his thoughts. So like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button for that. But shout out to those guys. Anyway, let's talk Paige. That did not look good. I think, and I mentioned this in an earlier video of mine, I said when Paige apologized, I didn't get the hate she was getting, but when she put out the apology video, it felt like she was trying to get out ahead of stuff. Felt like she knew what was coming. She saw Luke Kwan's reaction and how the internet perceived Kwan sleeping through and the people there, obviously. And I feel like she was trying to get out ahead of stuff that was going to come her way. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below on the Paige thing. I mean, she didn't do herself any favors. I had stuck up for her in the first few episodes leading up to this. It was obviously widely reported that more drama was coming, that there was two incidents, i.e. Slopegate and Pagegate. So her getting upset and her saying in her apology video that she doesn't do well with social cues and stuff like that makes more sense now after seeing what we saw today. It didn't look good. I get her trying to talk smack on the first hole, but you can't say to Brad Dalkey that he's never played competitive golf. I get what she was doing, but that was never going to be received well. And guys, just keep in mind, I can't imagine the pressure and emotions that these guys were under. It was 100 degrees out there. They're on hole 72. I believe this was a 2-day tournament. So they're on hole 72. They are hole 36 for the day. I don't know if they played 72 holes back today. I know they were playing 36 that day. And you saw that all the guys with cold towels on. So keep that in mind. The emotions that they're feeling, the adrenaline, pair that with how hot and there's a lot going on. So, but her saying on the first hole that you've never played competitive golf to Brad Dalkey did not go over well. We knew Francis was going to confront her, and then she said, well, I didn't say that. So that obviously, that was the first hole. That was the whole thing. And then we get to hole 8. And if you follow, like I said, Easter eggs. So Brad saying, keep an eye on Malosi and the rest of those guys, you knew that was going to come back at a later part in the video. The production team did such a good job laying out Easter eggs and for very specific reasons. And so her patting down the lie, that did not look good. right? I mean, I think everyone can agree that that did not look good. Her defense of, well, I didn't know, like, that is just, she could have said a million other things. Like, I'm not going to comment on whether I thought she did it on purpose. They lost the hole. I don't think it really mattered in the long run. But her saying I didn't know, like, that's just, you can't have that defense. Like, you're a professional golfer. And I've met Paige. She's really nice. I met her at the Good Live event in Chicago a few months ago. But that's just not a defense you can go with. And then Peter Finch coming up and being the gentleman that he is, saying something to Brad. I think we should give maybe more credit to Brad and Francis for how well they handled it. Because if that's me playing for $1 million, or maybe someone who has a little bit of a temper like a Whitney, imagine how they would have taken that. So credit to those guys for handling that well and talking about it and just like putting it past. She didn't do herself any favors by crying and all that. Like, that's just not, like, all the hate that she was getting. Obviously, like I said, she was trying to get out ahead of all of it, that she knew this was coming. So everything makes sense. It just did not look good. And like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And one more thing before we get off PageGate, I think that when we talk about this Internet Invitational 10 years, whatever, that Malosi and Slopegate is going to be talked about more than Paige. I think that Malosi having the slope on and off, and that we have the video, that video is going to be dissected, clipped up. I think people are going to talk about Malosi. I think people are largely going to forget about Paige. I really do. That's just my opinion. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about Malosi. So like I said, this piece of equipment right here, the Bushnell Tour V5, the slope on or off was the question, right? And I did it in a live stream earlier, but we have confirmed that this is the exact model he was using. So the red is what you need to see if slope was on. And I want to share my screen with you guys and show you a few images that have been circulated on Reddit. I'm sure you've already seen them. Okay, so these images were shared with me earlier by a follower of mine, but you can see here that the Bushnell is not red. There's no red in that area. Now, I know people are saying he can slide it on and off. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute, but this was, I believe, in the morning in this image. Then there's this one zoomed in on the cart. This is on Reddit. There's no red there. And you can see his thumb is in front of it. So, but there's no red. So his slope wasn't on, whether he moved it or not. But it doesn't look like, this is before he actually gets in the cart. We can see his hand. And so the image or the video would have had to have done it right about there is when the thumb would have moved. So that's the whole thing. And then this clip has been dissected. I did a whole investigation on the live stream. But the only other thing that I want to talk about, because I think at this point, I don't think his slope was on. And Mo's going to have to live with that if it was on. And he's just going to have to lie the rest of his life, because I don't think he'll ever be able to admit it. But he's just going to have to live with that. I don't think it was on, though. One thing I want to talk about. So if you're not familiar with this Bushnell model, and I don't know if you can hear that click on and off. I'm going to have to play it back. But you can hear when it moves to slope on and off. So that mic, this mic is picking that up. It's picking up that click. And I know the camera footage does not look good. And if you're just looking at camera footage, I agree that the footage does not look good. I also think it was amplified because of the drama. But Malosi is wearing a Bluetooth mic right about here. He moved it within a foot. This thing would still pick up that click. So I want to hear the microphone audio from that moment from Malosi without the music. I just want to hear the raw audio to see or hear if we can hear a click, to see if he turns slope on or off. Because the footage obviously does not look good. I need the audio from that exact moment from his Bluetooth mic. I think that is the only way that we are ever going to get an answer on if the slope was on or off. Like I said, if Mo was going to come clean, he had plenty of moments to do it. I think he would have just done it at the Internet Invitational. I don't think he would have waited, because if he does it now, it just looks terrible. And Mo's not an idiot. Like, he's not dumb. Regardless of what you think, I want to know what your thoughts are in the comments below, because that's the Easter eggs I'm talking about in the production. Like, that is going back to episode 1. When Wesley Bryant asks Dave Portnoy in the fairway, hey, what's the rule about slope? Like, they're planting Easter eggs in episode 1 all the way to episode 6. And that just credits how good the production was. And I know that Malosi was a whole thing. And that's not more. Like, they're showing him these little clips of him, whether it's moving the leaves, the whole rock ball situation. All these Easter eggs are leading up to this big final controversy in the final episode. And I just think that just shows how good this thing was produced, and I can't wait for the next Internet Invitational. As for it was so good. Like, there was characters, plots. You had Dave, Frankie obviously sculling one at the end. If you've been a follower of Frankie forever, you know the butter knives thing. Like, it just had everything. You had Whitney and Dave. Another thing I saw someone talk about was Dave betting on the match, but he's the rules official. That's a whole nother controversy in its own right that's being discussed. Anyway, this Internet Invitational is going to be talked about. I think it was a home run for everyone. I think they got exactly what they wanted. It's going to be really hard to top for the next one. Anyway, I would love to be at the next one. Hopefully I'm there. But anyway, what a night. I'm sorry. This is probably not the best video, but I'm tired. It's been a long day. I did a 2-hour live stream earlier. So I'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.